Welcome back, everyone, to After Party. We are now going to jump into the next episode, Mr. Armani Caine. So we begin by hopping onto an airship. Very exciting. We meet the captain, Malcolm Humero, and also the ship is called the Stargazer. I almost forgot that. I thought it was a pretty name. We spent actually on the ship.
I have a question immediately.
Yeah, okay.
Is Malcolm Humero supposed to be Shadow's son? Because why did you make him exactly my D&D character? It really freaked me out there.
I just thought it was a fascinating idea to be like, I haven't done a Tabaxi human in this campaign yet. Let's throw one in.
Because you explained it, and that's exactly what I'm playing in Logan's campaign, but I'm like, oh, that Shadow had all daughters. But I was like, if Shadow had a son, it would be this, like, pompous, stupid captain who can't actually do anything. This is Shadow's son you've designed.
Yeah, it might be a little of an homage.
Well, I love him.
Now, you just have to put characters in for mine and Anthony's past things, because everyone else has, like, a little thing. Where is ours? Just wondering. Whatever.
We haven't played in
things that we've.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the only serious D&D campaign we've played it together.
Whose fault is that?
We're doing
that
it now.
One shot where there were 12 people,
Yes.
Denny, that wasn't important to you? God.
I'm pretty sure Josh's brother played a robot. Let's get back on track.
You wanted this one to be really long, right? We spent a lot of time on the airship before it even like takes off. Like I realized like there was like so much to happen. And it was like, and then it takes off. I was like, Jesus Christ. We make the choice to go through the mountains for our journey, not around them, because we wanted to shave off some time, which feels like a great choice considering what happens at the end of this episode. But I also feel like there was no option to do it the other way, really. It's like kind of a cop out. Maybe it would have been worse if we went around. You like punish us by like a dragon showing up.
Well,
I think the information that we learned momentarily was I'm really glad we did do the 3 days after we found out what we found out.
Yeah, that's a good point. That would have been like really awkward.
Yeah.
Speaking of, on that ship we encounter hired protection from DNR, Nix Domino, who was instantly a very cool and intimidating presence on this ship.
Just the coolest dude ever.
Yeah, it was like, ooh, I want to know what they're about. And then I really didn't anymore once we actually got to know them. I'm just trying to blitz through this. We'll get into more detail because more stuff happens kind of once we actually are in the fucking air. But we settle in, and Elo and I hop downstairs to look at the main power source for the ship, which is an air elemental trapped in a large tube. And yeah, this was one of those moments of like a really like random little specific detail that's such cool like world building. Because if you think about it for too long, you're like, I don't know if I feel good about that. That's kind of the issue that me and Ellen were having.
Yeah, it seems really questionable. It feels like a really questionable choice.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if I agree.
Yeah, it's a little, I don't know.
It's a bit sus.
What happens if there was a crash and then the tube broke and then the elemental gets out and fucking kills everyone? Just curious.
Probably wouldn't be too happy, yeah.
That was my concern when the fight breaks out later.
Well, I guess we'll talk about it, but that might have been what they were going for, right?
I think they were, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they were trying to get down to the bottom. Oh, now, okay. I'm gonna note to myself that I need to investigate if there was any like stories of airships being like fucked with. We're in New Philby. We can talk to the people because they're the ones that built them originally.
We got lots of time to talk in New Fugleby. Good thing we didn't leave.
Yeah, good thing I made the right choice. We didn't leave. I'm gonna make a real quick note.
That note taken, eh? I tell you.
Okay, it's really important. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget forever. Just like it was so important that I wrote a note about saying the bees were queets. So.
They're all of equal importance.
Okie dokie. Cool. Next up, Gideon speaks with Nix. I really don't remember what exactly was said in this conversation, other than just kind of like a bunch of posturing, I feel like.
Gideon it started off as a bunch of posturing, and Gideon was kind of just like, all right, I'll meet you there. And then it turned into like, do you know me or some shit? Like, did I piss you off in some way? If so, I'm so sorry. I don't remember a lot of my past, and I'm sorry. I'm just gonna walk away, and hopefully you don't have to deal with me if you don't need to. And then he just kind of left. And then he was like, no, I think that dude wants to kill me.
Yeah, and then Nell was like, oh, probably not. You take everything so personally, which was top 10
it was
advice given.
Beautiful.
Were you like just laughing so hard at yourself? And I was like, probably not.
Yeah. It's whatever, you know. Just kind of vibe, you know. It's whatever.
One of those things I imagine must be so fun as a DM, just hear your player say something so completely wrong. You're just like, just you wait and see.
Yep. Can't confirm. It's a blast.
Oh boy. Yeah, I guess at this point, like, other than feeling like you were about to die, like, you weren't really thinking anything too specific about, like, who Nix might have been to you, really?
Honestly, I knew it was DNR, and I was like, I don't know what I did. Like, I know he was another DNR bounty hunter, as he introduced himself as such, but I don't know what relationship I'd have had with him. I don't know what I could have done to really piss him off. So that was sort of what was running through my head, was like, okay, what did I do? Now, I know I sent Denny a little thingy to let him run wild a bit with this part of Gideon's story. So I had some idea of what this was eventually going to turn out to be, but Denny would, of course, find a way to make it something completely fucking different. To which I say, well done. We'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure. But I knew that Gideon, because I was like, what if Gideon had, during that bounty hunting time, which we've talked about very little, was ruthless, and what if he had an alias he didn't remember? And that was what I gave Denny. And Denny was like, oh, that's so cool. I love that idea. And then I was like, dude, have fun. And then I kind of just left it there. So I expected this to come up at some point in the future, but it was immediate. So, I was very surprised with where you took it, and I'm very happy with where you took it, because it just makes Gideon's past even more like, what the hell happened? What is this?
It seemed like a perfect time too, because like you sent me such a little prompt, and I was like, and what a perfect time to deal with this than on an airship where you can't get out of this situation.
Yep, I had no idea you were going to bring it up right away. And I love that you did that. That blew me away. I was like, holy shit, this man's just built different. He just thought of this right away. All right, cool.
Well, like, I was
You
surprised
had this prepped for months, and you just called it.
Yeah, I had no... You know what?
Like, oh my god, thank you for the prompt.
My freaking brain is huge, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me too, because you and I, Ryan, had literally just talked about how you were like, oh, I like just was talking to Denny about this thing, what happens, and blah blah, and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, like, well, I'll be interested to see that. And then the fact it was like the next episode, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
You and me both. As soon as Nix Domino was not cool with Gideon, I was like, oh my god, it's gonna happen.
Like, it's happening, it's happening.
Oh no, it's gonna happen this session. Oh, little did I know.
Oh,
yeah, that's my thoughts about that first moment.
Love it. All right, we're gonna get into a very deep dive of that in just a moment, but the ship hasn't even taken off yet. So, Alwyn finds Abe to fill him in on what Layla said about Malda not being god. This is another one where I didn't take great notes during this part, so.
I don't know if we talked about much. I just thought you should know that.
Yeah. Were you surprised? Was Abe in the moment surprised at all, or were you just kind of like, yeah, it seems?
I don't know if he was surprised. I think it's Abe's very contemplative, and so it's just new information that he has to mull over during his designated brooding time. I feel so bad, Dallas, because I feel like every time Elwyn and Abe talk, you say something great, and I'm just like, oh, neat.
Nifty.
We can talk about this in 12 sessions.
Well, I think the reason as well that I was like, I should have this conversation is that, like, when we're playing, I have, like, the stream as my main screen, and I can see, like, 2 other people in, like, the little boxes above. And during that conversation with Walela, you were one of the boxes I could see. And when she said that, you made a face. And so I was like, I should talk to I feel like Adam might have something to say about this. I should try to bring it up.
That I don't think I did. So,
We didn't really talk too much about it, but I thought you should know.
I appreciate that.
Now
It's one of
he
the
can do
hardest
things
things.
with it.
Yeah.
The hardest thing in the world, though, with like this style of storytelling, like I love it so much, but there's so much afterwards where I'm like, I wanted to say this and I didn't. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have to assume that there are conversations happening behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah.
We could have assumed that I had told you at some point, but I just thought you had something you wanted to say about it.
Well, I don't think I did. I don't think I said anything. So,
No, you said,
oops.
huh.
Good talk, Abe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god. Element trying so hard to reach out and make friends and it got like shut down. Like,
No, that's not what happened. It was fine. We had a good talk.
yeah.
That's good.
Oh my god. I think that was everything that happened while the airship was on the ground. Perhaps, yeah. All right, and then it finally set off. Woohoo! All right. Hey, Teni, you're not looking at the screen, but the next part's for me. So you want to take over?
It's not even for you. This is a general group question.
Is
So, oh yes. As
I
the party
can't
flies
read.
over the mountain range, removing what could have been possibly a half a month of land travel, how are people feeling as it feels like we're speeding in-game, because we're not doing anything in quick time, towards Varmhall Village and the Rinzar Peaks? But, Christy, since you feel like it's specifically for you, you may go first.
I didn't read it. It was under a section that said now. What do you want from me? I can't read.
Didn't
You're our
make
lore
these
master.
notes?
What? I don't understand. Yeah. Really all I wanted from this whole episode was to just brood looking off towards the mountains. So I appreciate that I got that chance. I was really annoyed that Nix was fucking standing there because I was like, could you move? Like, this is
I
where I
have
want to
to
brood.
brood.
I've been thinking about this for months. Thank you.
The only state I'm in is constantly brooding.
God, he's just so freaking
In
cool.
my brooding zone. Yeah. I don't know.
Does it feel like we're speeding?
Well,
I'm like, thank God we're like not immediately backtracking. Well, I'm just, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see a different city.
yeah.
I say speeding because you guys cut through the mountains. As opposed to like considering like if you had walked the way around, like I said, it would have been like a 10-day. Or even it would have like been
Probably
like
more.
maybe 2. Yeah.
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 Couple
I almost wonder if
sessions.
we would have like done like something different if we had to walk all the way over, like because there would have been stuff along the way, so we could have like gone back to Dan the Paladin, maybe looked at our keep and whatever. But
Oh, good. It would have
Freaking-
taken us even longer.
Freaking Sarze would have had to jump on us on the ground.
yeah,
She had to
Already
jump on
done
us in
that.
the air too, though.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but like at least I don't know.
I'm happy that we're going at a little bit of a quicker pace. Cause
Yeah.
Just from a player standpoint, I want to get to the meat. You know.
yeah.
I know. I just want to learn all the
But
things.
we've had so much steak already, man.
Hey, this is more than a one-course meal, my guy.
Just filling up on bread.
Yeah.
Just stop eating the bread.
Let me tell you something,
Guys,
bread.
I
Bread's
don't like that you're
incredible.
calling this campaign just bread.
It's real good bread.
Have you ever
Okay.
had some
Garlic bread.
exceptional bread? It's like
You-
Italian bread.
That garlic bread was invented by the elves.
Oh, I had a thought, but all that bread talk banished it forever. So I don't know anymore. It doesn't matter.
I think Drax's excited to get back to his home. He's excited for his friends to see it because it's like the Darkarth doesn't get a lot of people from outside of Darkarth, And when they do, it's like 1 or 2 people who roll up that got lost in a blizzard and then suddenly show up on our doorstep. So I'm interested to see how we actually make it in there. If like my presence is enough to like guide us home, or if there's gonna be some magic fuckery that happens.
I expect a bit of yes.
That's a good point, actually.
Yes.
We're so mad at Drac if we get fucking lost in the mountains.
Look, I made my way down. I don't know if I can make my way back up.
True, you can fall and just let yourself roll going down.
That's just what Drac did. He just jumped off the mountain and rolled his way down.
He was like, I am a great explorer. That is how I got out of
survival.
Daroka.
I can do this, no problem. Here I go.
No.
Whee!
No issue at all.
To be fair, I guess like the people in the
I
village
can
aren't
throw
like
uphill,
super,
though.
like you aren't super trained in like returning, because isn't the expectation that like no one leaves usually?
Yeah, I mean, we go up for like hunts and stuff in the area.
Yeah.
And like, so Drac's familiar with like the surrounding area of the village, and about as far as like the Rawane Springs, but other than that, not super familiar.
Interesting.
Yeah, folks don't really leave home.
Well, that's gonna be really fun when we get to that point. Just
Mm-hmm.
fucking trapped in the snow. But we have that dome now, thank God.
We do. Thank goodness for
That'll
Ellen.
be so helpful.
Thank
Way to
goodness
go.
for Elwyn,
Yeah.
your resident wizard warlock.
Whizlock.
Wizlock. Warzard.
Leonard's tiny house. Yep.
Cool. So I think the next part was the casting. The casting of Identify on that cloak that Gideon found,
Oh, yeah.
which led to Ryan's extremely beautiful speech. Oh, if you have anything to say about that, I just wanted to point it out. That was really nice.
Thank you. That moment, I realized just how bad Gideon's imposter syndrome was getting. And it was like, oh, he's not taking this cloak, period. But then I also was like, okay, they've abated it for now, but like he's not going to take it because he doesn't like the look of it. And that's just funny to me.
Such a
So
funny ending to that too. Okay.
I was like, that's so dang Gideon. Just
Mm-hmm.
makes you sad and then makes you chuckle about it after and then walks away. I'm like, that's Gideon the character. Yeah. So I loved that whole bit. Thank you. You guys were fucking awesome with everything. Like, fuck, you guys are amazing. You give me this space to just feel so comfortable. So thank you.
Likewise. I have like a stupid question for Dallas now. How like you have been asking for like leather, like studded leather armor, right? And then the cloak was like kind of meant to fill that gap. But like, what if Gideon had taken it?
I didn't know what to do. Look, honestly, because I had resigned myself to the fact that I wasn't getting back to my 16 AC. So I did my level 8 level up with the idea that I wasn't going to get there. So, I mean, I'm happy to take the cloak. I want the cloak, and it paid off. It paid off in the next fight. But, I mean, it wouldn't have been the end of the world if Gideon taken it either. It's good for anybody. But it really should have gone to either me or Azaria with the lowest AC.
Yeah.
And I'll take it.
Right. Now we just have to get another one for Sorry. Literally, they take all of the damage. It's so annoying. Oh, obviously it didn't come up in this episode, but the next one, it was rough.
No, what are you talking about? I took
Yeah,
no damage
honestly,
as
you
far as I
maybe
know.
should have it. I took like a combined maybe 3 points of damage these two fights. You probably should have that cloak.
But I mean, you know, as soon as you give that away, everything's gonna target you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, this is the part that was actually for me that I thought was from before. I understand. My notes are a mess. Yeah. All I wanted to say was when I was brooding, looking out over the mountains, I really love the narration that you did there, Teni, because it was very good, and then it, like, made me think about what I was trying to think about even more. So that was nice.
I like trying to tap into the mindset of you guys and occasionally give your like, I like to stand alone. I'm like, all right, let's dive into that a little bit.
That's actually such a good instinct. Because literally I was like, Nell's having feelings. She wants to go over here and feel her feelings
Let's talk
dramatically.
about that.
I did really enjoy how you were like, because obviously I've been trying to piece together certain things of like little crumbs you've been dropping for me, and this one felt like a bit more of a morsel of like the two different like ancestries thing. And I was like, interesting. I was gonna think about that for a long time. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I just had one other thing I wanted to add.
Yeah.
About you guys being great players. During Gideon's little speech thing, at other tables I've played at, somebody would have interrupted that. With either a stupid joke or something else. So, thank you.
I think that's one of like the
Nick says me.
Yeah!
Calling out people in the chat.
I think that's like one of the things that's like hardest to do, like with kind of like
I love you, Nick.
improv stuff, is to like know when to give people the space to like have certain conversations and when to interject. So I feel like we've really found our rhythm, like as both like a in-game adventuring group and out of game people playing them too. That makes me really happy. So
Mhm.
it was very organic and nice. Abe practices calligraphy. Is my next note. Why are you practicing calligraphy? Are you trying to like sign your name for the? You don't have to answer if
I'm
it's
just like putting details in.
Yeah.
Like, I have proficiency in painter's tools. How can I flavor that to be like a skill at hand-eye coordination? And it's weird to say, but like hand movement discipline, if that
Right.
makes sense.
it
Drawing
does.
a straight line and all that kind of stuff.
Drawing a straight line is hard.
I've never done it. All of
Teni's
my
eyes.
lines are just
It's like,
It's very hard. I have cheat buttons that let me do it.
When did
What
you
they're there for.
take the painter's proficiency thing?
it comes with level 7 of being a samurai.
Ah, okay.
But you get to choose a tool proficiency, I think.
Gotcha. It's really funny to me. I have not taken any proficiency in like drawing related things, but I've really worked it into being like part of Nell's whole deal. And now like I'm stressing about it on my own terms because I'm like, I have to draw that picture of you later. We'll get to that. But I'm like, I really hope you don't make me fucking roll for it because I don't have the stats to back it up. I've just made it a backstory thing.
It's just this little stick figure drawing.
I'm like,
This is you!
like, Nell's good at drawing. I've made that really clear, but I forgot that I actually might have to like make that a real thing stat-wise.
Nell
Right,
thinks she's good at drawing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Nell's stick figures are really good.
Everyone in the village was always like, "Oh, it looks great now. You're so talented."
Oh, I love that.
There, it's
Just a very supportive community.
Yeah.
I as a DM find a weird balance of like what I allow and like what I rules stick to. Like the last couple of fights, like unfortunately there was a couple of moments where Anthony specifically, and I feel like it's been a very unfortunate that it's always been you in these situations where you have something so creative and I'm like, it kind of messes with the action economy. So I don't know if I can fully allow what you're trying to do here. So
all right,
there's
man.
that weird line of rules I follow. But then of course, like speccing you guys, like if you're like in the instance of Abe, like your story kind of led you to a different class. It's like, yeah, if whether it's like something narrative, we'll talk about it, or you know, you're just not having a good time. Like I'm down to let you guys like respect yourselves. Like in the case of Nell's drawing thing, I might be like, we'll just give you a freaking drawing proficiency because you've absolutely made it part of your character, and you took the freaking the linguist feat, which is such a boring feat anyway. You might as well have drawing as well.
here's a petty proficiency.
Calling me out for my like fucking roleplay feat choice.
I mean, it's so unfortunate because everybody else has so many languages too.
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, except
Well,
for
there's a
Gideon.
few. I don't know. I
have
wouldn't
3.
change it. I mean, part of me is like, oh, it would be nice to have something practical, but it made too much sense for the character, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, I feel like
Hey.
that's gonna come in useful at some point, Christy. Just like having all those languages.
I think it already has in some cases.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I was able to speak to the dragons and whatnot. So, anyway.
Crimson, thank you for the sub.
Shout out. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Bubby. Love
But
you.
yeah, Denny, don't worry about being a stickler to me because I think I know the rules just as well as you do, and sometimes I'm trying to get away with stuff that I should not be able to.
I can't blame
That is such a relatable
Aren't we
sentence.
all?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's what everyone says, Nick.
Oh my god. Okay, I really ran out of time because I had to do real life work. My next note is truly just Abe speaks with Nix, and then the thing below it is Armani Caine.
That summarizes it though. So that's
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Adam, help me talk about what that conversation was all about, please. Thanks.
good. Abe was drawing calligraphy, and then
Yeah.
Nix came up and was like, "Hey, meet me later, and I'll talk to you about your friend, because he's not who he seems." And Abe was like, "You're right.
Tuesday.
See, it's good, mate."
Yeah, mate. Sounds good. See you down there.
And then, the two gents sat in a room. Nix was drinking, and I felt
well, yeah.
so bad because I felt like I took up so much time with that conversation.
I think that was
just
important
asking
to have.
questions.
I mean, but I was so good. I mean, I don't know. How often do you really feel like you, Adam, allow yourself to take up that much time in this game, comparatively?
I feel
the
like
rest of
I do it in stages where I don't say anything, much like this after party. I don't say anything for like an hour and a half, and then I'll take up half an hour.
That's okay. Dude. It's your time in the spotlight. You get
Yeah,
it.
seems
We
fair.
all get it.
We all have that feeling, I think, and we've talked about multiple times, of just being like, I'm taking up too much of the spotlight now, but we share it. I think it's okay. Like, we have it in moments. So, personally, I loved that conversation. It was so fucking, it felt very like noir to me, like so slick, just being like,
Yes.
oh, have another drink, and like, I'll get all this information out of you. It was,
Adam, I have had entire Dicely episodes where I've had Gideon say maybe 3 sentences. And I had the Balesville episode. So, like, you know what I mean? I'm fine. Dude, I'm good. All right? I had my time. So, you know.
I loved it. I was,
It was
so,
great.
It was very fun for me too, because it very much felt like, like, well, I guess to kind of play on the theme of what was learned, like two sharks like kind of swimming around each other. Like, it was just like a tense situation, a tense conversation that who knows where that was going to go. But by reputation, these two individuals have a bit of a dangerousness to them.
Mm-hmm. That was such a cool. Just,
Until
think
Nix
someone
got
needed
into
to have
combat, in
that.
which case the dice did not agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
hey,
I think
give
someone
that
needed
man a
to have
buff.
that conversation though.
Buff
Someone
that
needed
man.
to talk to him that wasn't Gideon to like be able to extract something about Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we would have learned that otherwise.
And you know what? I think Abe being the one to have that conversation, even though it was Nix that kind of approached him first, kind of made the most sense. Like, clearly Nix kind of respects like the stronger individuals, and like Nell might have been, but I think your demeanor, like being a bit more, sequestered to yourself, and also specifically like avoiding him, kind of was like, okay, not her.
It's like a cat. It's like, oh, you're not interested in me. I'm gonna go to you instead.
he was mad because I was taking up his brooding spot, so he didn't want to talk to me. I get it. It's fine.
That's
Um,
my spot.
I realized I actually took extreme notes about this conversation during. I just didn't transfer them over, but so through him we learn a little bit about Blue Spark, that she's like a big fish contract with the DNR, and like no one's been able to claim it, and is currently the highest bounty, which is interesting. So perhaps if we wrangle her up, we could also get some money, which would be nice. But yeah, we learned everything about fucking Armani Caine, the Shark Kid, which I thought was also super cool. I also really like the line about like, what does a pilot fish do but follow a shark? That was so
Mm-hmm.
so cool. Yes, we learned all the information about how they dueled in, is it Eldom Town?
Eldom Town, yeah.
He shot him freaking dead, or did he? So.
Doppelgangers, man. They're everywhere.
Doppelgangers.
Got that tinfoil hat firmly on my head.
Yeah. But I really loved how this conversation ended with like Abe like threatening him. I was just like, yes. So I'm like, do it. Because I kind of missed like Violent Abe a little bit, if I'm being honest. I like Gideon's taking that role now, it's fine. But it was made me happy. I think I had a question for you about that. Doop-a-doop-doop-up.
If you can't find it, I think I recall what it was.
Oh, I found it. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like most of your kind of more violent, like barbarian moments were when you were, like, you know, with Malvin. Did it feel like weird to Abe to like tap into that part of himself?
I think
Or
given the
not even-
context of someone being like, I'm gonna kill your friend because I killed them once and it didn't take. It's just like, it's so senseless. Like, it hasn't really come up in game, but Abe is like, we're the only 6 people that we know for sure are on our side and after the same goal that we are. And so for this like vain, self-interested dude to be like, I'll kill one of your compatriots, like, and Abe's just sort of sitting there being like, then we'll kill you. Like, we'll leave you a puddle of mush. Like, we're not going to let you hurt us because we have something too important going on. It's funny, like, I don't remember what I said because it was one of those things where you just black out while you're talking.
Yep,
But-
very familiar.
Yeah.
I think like obviously I wasn't there for that, but that kind of like sums up to like I think how Nell like feels about the group as well, because it is a little weird, like, you know, I guess I'm playing a very like lawful good person. I'm like, but I love all these murderers that I'm with. They're my friends and it's fine. But I don't know, it's kind of like that thing, it's like, well, they're not trying to murder me. So that's, you know, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's, you know, whatever. I realized we kind of skipped ahead, so I'm going to go through all of the Nix stuff first. But I'm wondering if both Ryan and Teni could speak a little bit about like the Armani Caine. Like you touched on this a little bit, Ryan, that you gave kind of a prompt about, you know, Gideon's bounty hunting time. But like, is that truly all you said? Just like, oh, he was like ruthless and maybe had an alias, and that was it?
Pretty much.
Honestly?
I think I gave him like a maybe 1 extra point. I don't remember what it was. It was
Neither
nothing
do I.
really noteworthy, but those were the 2 main things I gave Teni, and I said, have fun.
Like, it was literally just like, you know, I think we were just hanging out in Discord, and then we both logged off, and then he messaged me on Facebook like, oh, hey, this is an idea, and like, that was it. Like, and I was like, very well.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I have all my greatest ideas right after I say, all right, see you later.
Cool. Ryan, we have talked about this a little bit, but I want you to talk about here what your theories are about who patched you / Armani Caine up in Aldentown.
Okay. So one of the theories, everybody put your tinfoil hats on,
Yeah.
baby. First thought, potentially Patience. Patience maybe patched me up because remember the first time her and I talked, she knew Gideon's name before Gideon introduced himself, which implies that she has some memory of who Gideon is after the event. So, secondly, maybe this is a big stretch. Maybe it's one of Gideon's siblings who patched him up. Because the report from the event said that there were duplicates running around, And I had the thought, Gideon's older brother was a military man. He could protect his younger sister if they were together during it. Maybe they made it out. But they don't remember who Gideon is. They just know that they had this connection to him. So when they saw him bleeding out or whatever, maybe they got to him before he completely died. Or maybe they got a cleric or something. I don't know. Big stretch. Huge stretch. I don't know. Or it's Sarze, you know, my power couple GF, you know, I'm just saying.
Yes.
My assassin GF, you know. Yeah. Gideon.
This is another romance I will allow.
Just
I'd like to see this play out in game.
throws a band-aid on him. It's not your time.
I'll kill you later.
Rises from the grave. Completely forgets about Sarze. That's why she's after us. She's pissed because I don't remember.
Oh, dude. You didn't call her.
I didn't call her.
So rude. Yeah, this, like, when we had that initial conversation, you and I, Ryan, it made me a fucking spiral on, like, theories about, like, all of this. So I'm just going to fill in everyone on these now. So I'm wondering if, like, what if the incident caused, like, everyone involved in it to have some sort of, like, this, like, memory loss or, like, taking on, like, a new persona, and if so, there could be a chance that Gideon's siblings are alive, but also operating under different personas and don't remember who they were before. And, like, what if everyone in the town has been replaced by doppelgangers because the actual people are, like, out, like, living different lives, which would explain kind of, like, what the fuck was going on with your parents when we met them, because, like, you went back before and they weren't there.
Yep.
And then now they are, and it's like, what the hell is happening? So that is my tinfoil hat theory for that.
Also, Gideon's younger sister, I stated in, like, what I wrote about his backstory, was a prankster and would prank Gideon all the time. So she could be a trickster cleric.
Oh, interesting.
I was going to say faking her own death is not a very good prank, but I see where you're going with this.
You know, if there's like a goo watching, you know, a great old one, I think faking your old death is a pretty great prank to pull on a great old one. You know, because they're like, this one's useless to me now, and you're like, nah, I'm vibing. False life or whatever.
Fuck is a great old one.
A great old one is a being that is beyond a god,
Like Cthulhu.
Cthulhu, Azathoth type thing.
I should have assumed. That's my bad.
Basically, picture, like, what's your creation myth? Everybody has this idea. It's like, oh, you know, this god created this thing, and it's like, that's cool and all, but what if it was actually because this thing in space woke up one day, stirred a bit, and then went back to sleep, and therefore the universe exists?
Yeah, I mean, in our setting, like, in the example of, like, Azaria with the Void, like, if the Void was alive, something like that might be a great old one.
Yes.
I'm a great old one?
You are definitely old.
You are certainly old.
And you're pretty great.
No, it's starting to add
And
up.
And
you
I'm
are-
made of void.
You're a person, so you are one.
Yes! Let's go! I'm here for this.
Azaria caused the incident in Balesville?
Whoa.
There you go.
That's crazy. Why would you do that?
Next level.
Old great one.
To wrap up this little bit from the conversation, things happened pretty quickly after the conversation between Abe and Nix. But Adam, did you or Abe have any thoughts about what was revealed about Gideon's kind of violent past?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of similarities to what Abe had gone through. So definitely like okay, so that's another person going through the same thing. Like, he's completely different. Abe's completely different. What they did in a past life or a time they don't know or remember, does that have any bearing on who they are now? I think to Abe, the answer is no. I imagine Gideon thinks very differently. So I'm sure that'll be an interesting conversation at some point down the line. But I think he was mainly just like, I have to make it sound not like Armani Caine was evil. You know, to make it sound like he was just a very efficient bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So that Gideon's not like, I was a terrible person. Ah! And then, you know, runs off the boat.
Yeah.
No, he would not be going above deck, period.
Runs deeper into the ship.
Yep.
Yeah, goes to say hello to the air elemental. It's like, hey,
To
I learned this thing
switch-
about me.
You can switch spots because you think that you deserve eternal torment. So
My friend, I'll let him out. He'll keep me alive, you know?
definitely, that's how that'll work.
Like,
For
hey, I set you
sure.
free, you just keep me safe. You know, you can do whatever you want to Nix Domino. All right, that guy, he's the one who put you in here, actually. You should... yeah.
Perfect
yeah.
plan. Cool. Before we keep talking about the Nix situation, there was something actually I wanted to talk about before, which was Ella and I had a quick conversation, which was one of those moments where I had so many other things to say and I just didn't get them out right. But the point of that conversation was meant to be that Nell is one of the few people who kind of knows Elowen's feelings towards the concept of like relationships and family. And the fact that like everyone in the group was like so like bleh, talking about the Divera thing made Nell feel really bad because it felt like I wasn't being very sensitive to that. I don't feel like I expressed it super duper well, but yeah.
I got what you were saying. I think I hate the idea that you feel like you can't enjoy this thing because Elowen's around. So I think I tried to push us through that because I was like, I don't actually want to hear this.
Yeah, that actually tracks really well. So funny coming at it from such like different angles. Like, you're like, I feel like a burden. Well, that's
Like,
actually
look,
so funny.
I
didn't even think about
I
that.
know. It's fine. Yeah. I feel like that whole conversation was. I felt super awkward that entire conversation as well, though, because because you were, you know, I knew that we had to have this conversation about like, oh, you've been like, we're going to Varmhall, like, how are you feeling? And I know you were stressed about like, what if this thing doesn't work? And I felt like Elwyn related so much to that, and that felt like the least comforting thing I could say. And I was so stressed that whole conversation because I was just like, yeah, sure does suck when you think you have a solution and it doesn't work. It's terrible. It's bad the first time. It's bad the second time. And 300 years later, it continues to suck. So I don't know how to actually tell you that. I didn't know what to say that whole conversation because I was just like, I'm just going to be really quiet because everything I can say is not helpful.
Such terrible miscommunication, because truly I did not want to have that conversation with you. Like the only thing I wanted to say was like the first part, and then when you were asking me about how I was feeling, I'm like, I don't want to talk to you about this.
You're great. I don't want to talk to you about it either.
Yes,
Okay, goodbye.
Or like I have like other things to say, but I was like, I don't, it's that. So it was just, it didn't, yeah, that was such a mess. But it's actually really funny to think about it in retrospect now, of like having kind of more of the context of like how, you know, Elowen's been feeling. But too, like I really think there's something to Nell's whole thing of just like, oh, someone who like she's someone who thinks she knows, like, or tries to help out in situations that people don't ask for her help for. So it's like that thing of like, I'm trying to make everyone else comfortable, but in doing so, I'm making them more uncomfortable. And that was kind of like a real poignant part of that. So I didn't like it. So
Good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
I was
really
having all
productive.
sorts of conversations. I was like, feeling great on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on from that forever. We're gonna keep talking about Gideon and Nix. Yeah, Abe goes and finds Gideon, fills him in on all of the Armani Caine stuff, and then goes around and collects the rest of us, which was extremely funny, I will say. But just like, be together, and then takes off. Like, but yeah, and then we go and we confront Nix, which was so been stressful because I was like, are we gonna fight this guy right here now? Like, oh my god. Yeah, Gideon didn't have any marks on his chest other than the soul scar, which is not the same. Probably.
I feel like we confirmed it wasn't in that spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Gideon's had the soul scar a long time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm.
It's like, I'm assuming since birth, but I don't know for sure. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But yeah, so Nix did recognize the gun that you carried and said that it was Armani Caine's once upon a time, but seemed to believe the lack of scar, but like, who knows what the fuck is going on in his head, because that doesn't seem like enough evidence, which is like proven by the next episode, because he said he was going to go and try and find his own answers, which I don't like.
I like it.
Do you?
Yes. Because then I can learn more.
Okay. Fair.
He'll be like, hey, I dug up this guy's body. This was the guy I shot. You're good, pal. Aces, you know?
It's not who I would want to go to for that information, if I'm being perfectly honest. But
Hey,
That's
you know,
definitely what would happen.
yeah,
You would definitely show up, snow-covered mountains, and be like, I didn't prove that you were the person I should have killed.
he climbs to Darokarth
Goodbye forever.
just by himself. What a Chad.
well, he's
Well,
good at tracking you. So
Well, it clearly wasn't you, Gideon. Bye.
Just leave.
oh, God.
I owe you
Oh,
a big
long way to
apology.
track. Yeah.
Can't believe I wanted to
finish when
kill
I
that
start.
guy.
Going into this confrontation, how was everyone feeling? And did you think there was like strong likelihood that we were going to get into a fight?
I was worried that Nix was going to try something. I didn't know what, but I was like, I think he might try to like break my gun, or he might try to be like, yeah, we should duel like right now. And if you don't want to duel, I'm just going to shoot you. I was worried about that. I was like, okay, no, I'm going to try and diffuse this as best I can for now. I'm still not happy about it, but here we are. Yeah. So, yeah, Gideon doesn't want to kill this guy.
Yeah. It seemed like, were there other people on the deck that were like kind of like on his side, or I can't remember.
Basically,
like
he's like the crew's with me. So if you kill me, like you're
Alright.
gonna have to fight them, and if you fight them, you're killing innocent people. And it was like,
All right.
oh, that's a. Ugh. I don't
Also,
want
the
to
fact
do
that
that.
you said that out loud. Like, I feel like the crew would be like, "Oh, wait, what?"
Well,
No,
we were in
don't
the
want
captain's
this,
quarters.
actually."
That was in the captain's quarters that he said that to Abe.
Oh, okay.
So-
right, he did say that. Yeah.
That was in private, so the crew had no way of hearing that. But that was definitely his side of that. Yeah, I was concerned that I was gonna have to shoot this guy, or during the fight that happened later this episode, that he was gonna try something then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is why I didn't take out any of the bugs around him.
True.
I left his hands full.
I feel like he's smart enough not to start a fight with the heroes of the realm. You know what I'm saying?
And does he know us as that? This is like, we signed that contract the morning we left. Like,
The shark kid was bad. How about the shark adult? My God.
ooh, that's such a good burn.
Ooh, that really strikes fear into my heart.
Tip's hat walks away, cries later.
I'm an adult shark. Oh, no.
Teni's
Oh, no, we
gone.
lost Teni. Oh,
Why
Teni's there.
do you have that ready to go?
Yeah,
that's
it's so
weird.
stressful.
I mean, I can do this anytime I want, but yet I'm still here.
Oh, spooky.
The ghost of Teni.
You again probably want to answer this, but did you have an encounter planned, Denny, for that whole?
I felt like
confrontation?
I felt pretty confident I was ready for this to go any which way.
Okay.
I also
As for-
had an idea for if we had to duel.
What was your idea?
I was gonna try
Give
and
it away.
disarm him.
Oh. Okay.
I was gonna shoot his gun out of his hand and sort of just be like, "That could have gone through your head."
Hmm.
Very Red Dead of you.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely a scenario where Abe just like rips Nix apart in the captain's quarters and just
Yes.
jumps in the bath.
Violent Abe returns. Do you think that Gideon would have had the self-control to disarm? You know, because it was like literally like 3 days ago that you fucking shot what's her face right in the face. So
Yeah, but she betrayed us and checked every single flaw on my list.
right.
Every flaw.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
guy was just an asshole.
Also, Gideon actually wants to have a chat with Nell about that very thought, being like, "Is that actually what you think about Gideon? Do I actually just pop off and kill people? Is that what you think about me?"
Why me? Did I ever say that in game?
You did. Yeah. Nell made a joke about it, being like, "I'm proud of you," and he was like, "Why?" You're like, "Because you didn't just kill him." And he was like, "I have like a. It's not my first
Is that
instinct."
my reputation?
To be fair, as you
Look.
clarified, we have not talked about the warehouse situation. So
Precisely.
we need,
So
to, we need to have a
absolutely.
big chat for sure.
I think that will actually be a very big moment for Gideon.
Yeah.
When it's like, is that really what you think about me? Like, I'm that? Oh God.
Well, I always wonder, like, because obviously the next part that happens is like the Armani Caine dream.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like, not to toot my own fucking role-playing horn, but I stayed up with you all goddamn night and took a level of exhaustion. So I hope you think more of me than just that. I assume you're a bloodthirsty killer. Feels good.
We'll see how that conversation goes.
Good. It's gonna be exhausted forever. It's no big deal.
No. Gideon,
That
no,
was-
Gideon very much so has a very high appreciation of Nell. Like, Nell is probably the person he respects greatest right now in this group.
Wow, rude.
Suck it, everyone else.
Wow, excuse me.
Ow.
Step
Abe-
up all others.
Now,
Yeah,
look,
be better.
now, because
No,
Yeah,
no,
but she's done right.
no. You don't need to explain. I think we all understand why. It's
you know
fine.
what, yeah, you know what, that's fine. I'll let you all stew on that.
Yeah, I just while we're talking about this end like footnote thing, I just want to clarify. This is one of those things of like how sometimes D&D like theater that mind does not work out very well, because I fully in that moment thought that I had already tranced, and that like because me and Abe had talked how we were taking like the opposites, and so I thought I already had mine, and then Teni, when you're like, "Oh, are you staying up all night?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, like I've already tranced," and you're like, "Oh, level of exhaustion." I'm like, "Oh."
Also, watching it back, I was like, I think I did this wrong as well, so I apologize on my end too. I am not perfect.
No, it was just one of those funny things because like I could have fought more in that moment, but I thought it was actually more interesting to take another level of exhaustion. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So and then I kind of forgot about it, so it didn't matter. But yeah, let's get into the frickin' dream. Hello. Once again, this was just such a fucking cool moment of narration. God damn. You know. Wait.
Shut up, Teni. You're a perfect creature.
Nick will defend your honor. Yeah, I guess Ryan just freaking walk me through what that was like for Gideon to just, have this realization about who he might have been, and was it in line with his own suspicions of that time of his life?
He had no suspicions about that time. He genuinely didn't remember anything about his bounty hunting years. He just knew that people thought he was a bounty hunter when he walked through DNR. Sorry, I'm just reading this comment that Crimson wrote. Yeah. He was in shock, because it's one of those things where he learned that he was something that he has feared before, which he was, jumping back several episodes when we met Patience. Gideon was terrified of Patience, and he was like, oh, but I was like unhinged, but I had that like same mantle that she holds. Oh, I'm terrifying. I was an awful thing. And he was like, what? The thing that scared him most, I think, was that he kind of drew the line between the event and there, and was like, oh, so that's how that happened. I think that was the scariest part of that dream, was the fact that he saw just how dark it got for him. And he was like, yeah, I could see that happening. That makes sense, how I got there. Because it kind of sets it in stone for him to be like, yeah, I don't. It just makes it scarier because it makes it think it's more true, and also the fact that he was a ruthless, murderous bounty hunter is not something he wants to be at all. He at the start of this campaign, Gideon was like, I'm a traveling merchant. I go around towns. I help people. Like I've gone to Starcross, and I have gone to a nearby oasis, got the water from it, and filtered it out using my brewer supplies and given it to the people there just because I wanted to. Like, it was just like, he was a guy who wanted to help where he could with what skills he had. And he's only ever really used his pistol to defend himself up until the start of this campaign. Realizing that he was the exact opposite of that was a very big shock for him, and a moment where he's like, I cannot allow myself to be that again. So mixed with that little joke that you made the day prior about like, I'm proud of you, was like, oh no, like, fuck. Like, he was broken. He was like, what do these people think about me? Like, I'm surrounded by people far better than me. I'm surrounded by, I don't deserve these people. I'm gonna hurt them. Like, it's one of those things where like, he's just scared of himself, of what he could be turning into. And I think it's also locked him in to be like, I need this group, because without this group, that's what happened.
Oh God, so
it's a lot. There's a lot of baggage in there.
So brutal too. I feel so bad. I don't even remember making that fucking joke, and the fact that it's like weighing on your mind so much. That's gonna be brutal when we talk about that eventually.
You know, in RPGs, when you pick a text chat because you think it'll be funny, and then you're like, that was a good hee hee, and it's like, Gideon will remember this.
Oh,
I am that.
Or such and such greatly disapproves.
Yeah, such and such
literally. Oh
greatly
my God.
disapproves. Yeah, I am absolutely that when I wrote this character and when I played this character. I was very much so of the mind, like, I want the other party members to have such a big influence on him. And the memory loss was a big part of that, because he doesn't have much to come from, really. So it's all forward from here. So whatever happens affects him.
Yeah. Do you have it in kind of your own like backstory, like what your first memory as Gideon again is? Like
after the event?
Well, yeah, I guess, like, or after what we know now is like the Armani Caine time.
I actually don't.
Interesting.
I don't have that.
So
I think that's purposeful.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's such
actually.
a bizarre thing to think about, of just like, do you just wake up as yourself one day and you're like, okay, good to go? Because it's like, how do you...
When do you remember that you remembered yourself?
Yeah, exactly. It fucks me up. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm going to try not to think about for a while.
Yeah, and when do you stop being you and start being you? You know?
Came here for D&D chats.
Yeah.
What you're getting is philosophical discourse
I came here to hurt everybody's head today.
and existential dread.
I mean, that is kind of why I come to D&D as well, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So I have to thank Teni for letting me experiment with this character and this story. I wanted some very dark cosmic horror and amnesia thriller vibes, and I'm getting all of it. So yeah, props to Teni for filling in that gap.
Hell yeah.
Props to all of you for bringing characters that I love to torture.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you have any other thoughts and or feelings about the dream before, or the reveal before I move on?
I don't know if you have a question ready for this moment, so I'll just ask. When Gideon gave you back the coin, do you have something about that?
I don't.
Okay.
Other
Well,
than infuriating.
It was because he didn't see himself as worthy of being the guy with the guaranteed parachute. So he was
It's
like,
because Nell has an 8 in dexterity and is going to fall off the ship.
no. So that was the thing. It was like, you gave him this coin to ease his worries about flying. And as I previously stated, you are the one whom he respects the most. So he gave you the coin to keep you alive. And in that little speech he gave, you have a family that's still alive. He knows how it feels to lose a family. And he knows how crushing that is. So he's like, no, you're the only one who can save your fucking family. You're staying alive. So, there you go.
I think like this whole episode was such like a classic, like our party thing of just everyone constantly being like, no, you take it, I don't want it. Like it's like it keeps happening. It's like with the fucking Greater Restoration between Abe and Rhea. It was just like so infuriating. I'm like, someone, you need to be a little bit selfish in this moment.
I'll tell you what, Teni, if you give me a magic item that is stylish as hell, like a cool ass ring or something, Gideon's like, I want it. It's mine.
Hey, Ryan, is your glove not that already? Like I think
Precisely. But I got another hand. You know?
You just got another gem.
Yeah, but I don't have 2 gloves. I can only put one in at a time.
Don't talk to Dallas about this. She's
Maybe go talk to Varys again.
You know, maybe a ring of wishes.
Dallas
I got the rings now.
I will leave.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, if there is a magic item that is fashionable, I have already been like, Gideon will be interested, regardless if it's even useful to him.
Wow.
We're just gonna steal all of our items.
Yeah.
Oh, no. If someone's like, no, I actually can use this, he'll be like, oh, fair. Like,
He's coming for my crop top. I know it.
yes, the crop top of Destiny and Fireballs. Yes.
Also, Chrissy, I'm going to get you to turn your volume up a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, again, Gideon, man of reason. So if he's like, hey, that's really cool, I want to wear it, you're like, yeah, but I can actually use it. Okay.
Dazzled holster.
Oh, that's
Sign me the hell up.
Sequins everywhere.
Yes, little gems everywhere. Anyways, Christy, the show must go on.
yeah, we're just gonna talk about combat. So the next morning we had a really restful, chill last day on the airship, and then we landed in New Fukelby with absolutely no issue. Or we got attacked by a bug with 3 heads.
Which didn't last long.
Yeah, it sure
Between
did.
Drac and Abe. Duo.
That was all Abe. I just stole the kill.
Abe was the bullet and
See,
Drac was the
nodding.
boom.
He knows.
So it's
Kill
so
secured, Drac. KS means kill
fun.
secured, not kill steal.
So fun to watch the other players actually be proficient at fighting.
I've been there.
Oh my god, I really enjoyed how much you guys just fucking rocked in that, killing that giant bug too, because it was like, oh, this thing's so scary, whatever. I was like, it's gone.
We have an Abe.
Yeah, I was just like,
You and
okay.
Abe.
Adam, was this your first time using did you use the rocket axe?
Yep.
How did that feel?
It was a lot of numbers.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's just a lot of being able to roll all those dice and add all those big numbers together.
Tell me
That's
more
a
about
lot of
that.
And just
Oh.
basically 3-shot the big boss of the encounter and save
That's nice.
everyone. And
So
be-
fucking
Really
cool.
tough.
And then
I do
also be
1d4
flying
damage.
around.
Yeah, and you got to fly too. That's so
Yeah.
sad.
Really, I just was very glad that I
Sad.
made my point to Nix clear.
Yeah.
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 That's
Really
true.
That's
Oh,
really
yeah.
all I
True.
cared about.
Oh yeah.
Abe was very motivated.
Yeah. it did feel so validating on your behalf at the next episode when he was like, "Yeah, you were right." I was like,
Yeah.
"That's right."
Yeah. Have
I
a
feel
seat,
like
Nix.
it's so good that you were able to pull that off because I don't know, the version of it that Nell tries is like, "Yeah, I'm tough as fuck," and then I just like, well, I behave like I behaved in that episode where I just don't do fuck all the entire time.
But I was so annoyed with Ryan in this fight as well. I feel like I can't do it. I
Gloves are
didn't call it out in the
coming
moment.
I'm sorry. I was doing so much damage.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But I feel like you all keep doing this to me where I really like, I plan out a combat and I'm like, this is how I'm keeping everyone safe. This is what I'm gonna do. And then I did it in this one. I was like, Nell's got a token. Azari and I have Featherfall scrolls. Those two are flying. I'm gonna give Ryan luck. And then if he has to roll like a dex save or anything to not fall off the ship, he's got it. And you used it immediately on your like first shot. And I was like, that's not what that was for. I'm trying to keep people on the goddamn ship. Jesus Christ.
But boy, did I shoot that bug real good though. Hey.
Oh my god, you guys are trying to kill yourselves. I'm just trying to keep everyone alive.
Hello, these
don't
are
worry.
future visions. You should see that coming.
Don't worry.
I gave him
I
the
no
future
longer,
vision.
no longer have sharpshooter. I will no longer be doing massive damage. I have swapped it out for the speedster feat because of one D&D killing the sharpshooter feat and all ranged fighters in its tracks.
Yeah, we're I guess
Bit
that's
of a
fun news.
stretch, I think, but okay.
I'm very unbiased, as you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, some of the players are going to be using 1D&D feats to try them out, so yeah, that'll be a thing.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Honestly, I'm excited to try Speedster out because it also fits with another part of this build I wanted to flavor with, which is the Field Medic, because now I could get 40 move speed.
Now Drak can use more of his spell slots on boom, boom, boom.
Precisely.
I want you in my room.
Yeah.
Hey, Drac, dude. Yeah, I got you, man. If people are down, I got you. You can do your funky cleric moves now.
Funky cleric moves. That is what I've been calling them this whole time. So yeah.
Hell yeah! I'm glad you've been doing it, and I'm not the only one.
Going back to the encounter, though, I believe Christy got to highlight some of her own, Nell's own abilities and skills in this encounter, which didn't leave me feeling bad or guilty at all for.
I wrote a really funny line for this moment that I just want to read for Logan's behalf, which was that Nell eats shit hard in this fight, ever so graciously filling the shoes of her mentor, Rhea, while Logan was away. Someone had to keep that flame alive, baby, and it was me.
I appreciate it.
Okay. No, there is one moment with Nell I really do want to talk about in this episode. It's when the dagger ejected from the bag. Me and my friend actually talked about this moment because they watched the episode. And he's like, there's this the moment when you channeled your like divine power into the weapon. There was a moment when Denny's eyeballs popped out of his head and he was like, oh shit, what do I do? Like that look. And he's like, that cracked me up. He was just laughing so hard watching Denny like race around to try and figure out what's gonna happen. It was so funny. But I think that was a brilliant move on your part, Christy. To just say, screw it, let's try this. This is such a neat, like, it was such a smart idea to try and blow up this dagger by doing your channel divinity, which was so smart.
Yeah, that was at the moment of combat where I was like, I haven't been doing anything, which is partly on my own fault because this frequently happens to me when I play my wizard in the home game where like I don't land a spell and then that's my whole turn because like you don't get bonus actions or anything. So I just got in that headspace and I forgot that the class that I'm playing, I could also be doing sorcerer things, which is casting spells on a bonus action. So I'd whiff a hit and then just forget that I could have tried to do literally anything else. So that was on me. But yeah, that was the point I hit where I was just like, I'm feeling a bit silly now because I'm pissed. And I was trying to channel my inner Emily Axford as well. So
I respect that.
Yeah, it's fun. Because yeah, I was like really like intent about the wording. I'm like, it doesn't say my weapon, so I don't know. Give it a shot. So
I thought it was a brilliant moment.
Great idea.
Mhm.
And it worked really well.
And also, Ryan, I'm glad
Fortunate.
whoever that was got some kicks out of that, because I was like, all right, time to panic.
That was my buddy Alan. Yeah, he's the guy I run my campaign for.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really intense part for me, which is like the fact that like the weapon like came out of the bag of holding. And I'm still like so unsure of like what was that? Because I could feel a presence. So like, was it Sarze,
I
invisible?
think it was.
So
Yeah,
I think
okay.
so.
That's everyone's vibe from that.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah, Dallas, to your point about you're trying to keep everyone safe. If Denny hadn't been so freaking gracious at the end of that to like allow me to like see down to Misty step down, literally my thought was like, maybe I just throw myself off the ship because I know that there's a hole underneath. So I was just gonna try and jump and like go into the hole that was underneath.
How was that gonna work? How
I
on
don't
earth
know.
was that gonna work? God
was
damn
like-
it! You jump off the side of the ship.
Folks,
Ah!
And then I go underneath. Well, no, because I was gonna fall and then see where I needed to go and then Misty step that way. That's what I was gonna do.
I see.
oh,
I
you know,
see.
that would
Okay,
have been
that might have worked.
badass.
Yeah,
You
that
have
was
to, like,
Cool.
hold an action and then reaction use it, because if you jump off, you just fall.
I know.
Okay.
It was
I know.
late. It was like what 3 hours. It was 3 hours in. I was
Yeah.
feeling a little slap happy, and so that was like, maybe let's get fucking stupid. Let's go. So I'm glad that didn't happen because I feel like that also could have gone so badly, and I would have really regretted like making a stupid choice in the moment. But just for behind the scenes on that.
I mean, there've been so many times when I've played D&D where it's just sometimes somebody clearly does not have the good session. And like I'm just like historically over the last decade, I've seen this occasionally happen. I'm just like, you know what? What it ultimately comes down to in a situation like this is how can I try and like turn around that fun? Because clearly if I were in those shoes, I'd be like, I am just so miserable and useless right now.
You know.
Like,
You know what you do?
I
deny
don't
it.
want to take. I don't want you to feel pitied, but I will throw you a bone.
Yeah, I did appreciate that because at that point I was like, I'm gonna just give me like a chance to hit one person. That would be so cool.
When
yeah.
Ryan rolls enough nat ones in a combat, he pulls out his swords and just does the help action. And just gets very sad.
Fair.
I used to help action.
Ooh. Yeah. Was there anything else from this fight that we wanted to discuss?
I'm good.
Cool beans.
All aboard the Abe train, baby.
Did I do it, Teni? Was it under an hour and a half? Because that's it.
I don't think it was,
Yes,
but that's okay.
technically.
Just
4 minutes.
a little bit.
Just barely.
Well,
I aim to please.
Well, think of it this way, Danny. You got videos for the next few weeks, you know?
Yeah, you're welcome.
There we go. Space
You're welcome.
And
But yeah, so this episode would end with us getting our first glimpse of new Fugleby and some giant bees.
bees.
Bees!
Were coed as hell. So did we want to quickly take another break or just pop right into the
Let's take another breaky break.
all right.
breaky break?
Could use
Sounds good.
Cool. So we'll see you back in 5 minutes, everyone.
All right. See you again.
Just a heads up that if you're hearing any music right now, you're watching it on YouTube, and that music is coming from Tim from Tabletop Audio. So shout out to Tim for the tunes.